My life is finally complete because my girlfriend has just bought a ChromeBook. Now I've seen it all, mostly. Let's talk about my first ever experience with ChromeOS. After my girlfriend moved here, she was in need of a laptop/tablet in order to process her daily work. She wanted something with the ability of tablet as she wants to use some Chinese apps which can be accessed from websites, but also want to be able to edit, document, and check bank accounts. I first introduced her with the Samsung Galaxy tablet. It's a perfect match on paper. It is an Android device with the ability to sideload all the evil strictly monitored Chinese apps and has DeX which can be used as a desktop. And she also fell in love with the huge AMOLED screen when she saw the S8 Plus. And yes, as a Linux YouTuber, I failed to persuade her to stay with Linux. My apologies. You can unsubscribe now. After a week, she decided to return it. It is wonderful that Samsung provides DeX. It's just that it still has its limitations, especially when using a mobile version browser. The websites will recognize it's a mobile device and then render themselves into touch-oriented interface, which is not super user-friendly to keyboard and mouse, even after requesting the desktop version. I tried using it myself and totally agreed with her. I can't even use the mouse to select multiple words in Microsoft's online Office. But I don't think Samsung is the only one to be blamed here. They tried really hard to provide something that is almost as useful as a workstation. It's just not as functional to use as a full-fledged desktop, because the word is not ready yet. That is when I suggested she turn her attention to Chromebooks, a device with the totally opposite design philosophy compared to the tablet, a desktop-oriented device which has the ability to install Android apps. She ended up going for this Lenovo Duet 5 2021 edition and has been happily using it after a month already. Now, if you have watched my previous videos, you know I have to tinker with it as a Linux user. It is using the Linux kernel underneath. It can support Linux applications, so I want to see what's what. First things first, let's install some other browsers to see how free the OS is. After the tablet experience, I don't really want to go for the Android route again, so I dive into the Linux side directly. I'm a Brave browser fan, and lately I have been swapping to Vivaldi secretly, because it has an easy-to-use sync function along with the vertical tabs which can hide the tab bars on the top. But I still love them both. So my first task is to see if I can install either of them. As a Brave browser fan, I also want to share some great news I found during this process, that Brave is finally available on flathub since April this year. So I set up the flatpak according to the ChromeOS guide on flathub. Sadly, the browser is not available for this device. It is probably because this Chromebook is using an ARM chip inside. I was able to install it on my x86 laptop with ChromeOS Flex, which will be another video. I also searched on their GitHub page, and it seems there is an open ticket to have the ARM-based Linux version of this browser. So that's that. Let's now move on to Vivaldi, which already has the Arm64 version ready for Linux, and it works. But it seems ChromeOS has some optimization on their in-house browser. I noticed the 4K videos on YouTube are quite laggy in Vivaldi, which is not the case with Chrome. I switched the videos to 1080p on Vivaldi. It helped, but not by a lot. It is still super laggy when switching between full screen and the regular view, which is barely usable. The low density setting did not help either. I guess that means you have to stick to the Chrome browser when you get a low-spec Chromebook like this. I noticed the CPU usage is through the roof when using Vivaldi, which is not the case with Chrome. I also want to mention that Firefox is also installable from apt package manager. It's just the video on YouTube has the same issue with Vivaldi. Finally, I searched the keyword browser using flathub command, and it seems there are several other alternatives. Especially if you're a seasonal Linux user, the GNOME browser, aka Epiphany, and Falcon are both there. The other thing I want to report is that my favorite note-taking application, Joplin, is working fine on the Chromebook. I was able to sync notes with other devices without any issue. However, there is a barrier. If you need a second language input method like me, chances are you might not be able to use it in Linux applications. At least Pinyin, the Chinese popular input method, is not working. Let's finish this ChromeOS quick look by adding my girlfriend's views, because at the end of the day, she is the main user of this machine. She still can't grasp the concept that a $500 Canadian Chromebook is much better to use than a tablet that is double the price. First, although the model comes with an ARM chip and 4 GB of RAM inside, there is no lag noticed by her when using the Chrome browser. She uses it with a 32-inch 4K monitor connecting through the USB-C port, mainly for editing documents using Google Docs and Microsoft Online Office, banking, buying and selling ETFs on the online trading websites. Watching Korean drama online might be the most extensive load she can put onto this machine, and it seems to perform exceptionally well so far. And second, if you use a lot of apps from China and think you could silo those with APKs, yes, you can do that. But just bear in mind that because that country doesn't have a lot of big screen Android tablets, those app companies like Bilibili and Little Red Books don't really care about the experiences on them. You will end up with a really bad interface, so might as well just get an iPad and use them there. Now, with my girlfriend having the shining new device, I am tempted to use ChromeOS too. I found that Google has absorbed the company Neverwell in 2020 and released the ChromeOS flags this year for all the third-party hardware. I decided to give it a go on my gaming laptop and see how that looks. With that said, if you're interested, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.